Welcome back. Welcome back. Divorce Dads Ask. Here we are every Wednesday, man. I take real questions, real dads like you in the rebuild in our school group online. I unpack them honestly. No filters, no perfect answers, man. Just truth and tools for men doing the hard work, right? That's going on. Today I have two questions. The first one is one of the most common and most painful things I hear from divorced dads. It's this the co-parenting poison, right? That you feel like your ex is poisoning your kids. This guy doesn't know what to do. The second question is one I love because it forces me to boil everything down, right? To the single best advice for a divorced dad rebuilding his life. Now, both of these are going to hit, and I want to get into it because the first question that comes through from, and honestly, this is multiple dads in our community. I mean, it's like nearly every time I'm on live or anytime I'm asking, hey, what's going on? What's happening? And it might be the most, it's one of the most common. And it sounds like this. Anthony, my co-parent is poisoning my kids against me, right? She says things about me to them. She undermines everything I do. She turns them against me. I don't know how to fight. I don't know what to do. And that's essentially, what this thing looks like for, dads that are going through it. And it's a mind melt because dads, to be honest, they want to control. You want to control the situation as best as you can, and you want to protect your kids. And unfortunately, when you're doing it, you're sometimes you're missing a lot of things that are going on. And I want to unpack that with you today. Right. So first, I need to say something you might not want to hear. You're not gonna like this. And I'm saying it because the dads that come to me with this co-parenting problem, they're trying everything. They're trying to figure it all out, and it's not working. So here's what I always say. Like, here's what I say. If what you're doing is working, then please keep doing it. If it's not working, and in most cases in regarding this question, it's not working. It's just not working, man. And there's a lot of things that we're trying to do externally, but yet we are avoiding the internal. The more conflict you have with her, listen, guys, the more ammunition she has. You're literally giving her bullets. Every fight, every heated text, every court filing that isn't necessary, all of it gives her more to inject into your children. And that's the picture I want you to see. Piss her off, and it's like a syringe in her hands with two. And what does she do with those syringes? She pops them into your kids, and she pops them in again, and she pops them in again. And slowly and slowly and slowly, you feel like you're losing your kids. All of these injections. The madder she is, the more hate she puts into the kids. That's not fair. It's not right, but it's true, boys. It's true. And the first question you need to ask yourself is this: is what I'm doing, like I said, is what I'm doing working? If the answer is no, for most dads in this situation, the answer is no. Then you need to change, not her. You, my man, you. Napoleon says, I have discovered the enemy. It is I. And that is one of the biggest and greatest things you can ever discover. There's some research on this. It says studies on parental alienation show that children exposed to ongoing high conflict between parents suffer significant psychological harm, regardless of which parent is the source. And that the most protective factor for children is having at least one parent who consistently refuses to escalate. You are the variable that you control. You are the one that can do something about it. She controls what she does. You control what you do, what you think, what you feel, and what you have for your children. What you do has more impact on your kids than what she says about you. I want to give you 3 things to think about to shift this for yourself, to do something different. Number 1, elevate your life so visibly that her words lose credibility. Do so much work on yourself that you become so fulfilled and successful in your mind, in your business, your finances, in your relationships, in your dad life with your kids, in your time management, in your relationships, in your physical body. Become so incredible as a man of who you are, not anybody else, you. maxing that out. Kids are not stupid, especially teenagers. When a parent says bad things about the other parent constantly, they know that. And that parent shows up calm, present, joyful, and growing. When a parent does that, they know that, they recognize it. Words start to sound hollow, right? When they're a constant dripping of not, it's not reality. When the kids are with you, it's like, dad's not like that. Why is it always coming from her? And over time, you'll see the difference. Your life is the best argument against whatever she's saying. But a dad who's bitter, reactive, and struggling confirms her narrative. If you fly off, you get angry, you get frustrated, boom, you're playing right into her hand. The best response to parental alienation is becoming undeniable, dude. Number 2, stop causing fights and stop taking the bait. There's a guy in our group, in our school group. If you're not in there yet, haven't jumped in, just start there, man. Don't do this alone. There's an open community for you. There's other paid tiers. And a guy came in recently, and that was exactly what was going on. He was just getting in fights over nothing all the time. He was taking the bait. He just couldn't manage his anger. He just wasn't managing it. And ultimately, it was because he had so many internal things, so many viruses that were tearing him apart, that it was coming out in frustration and anger and rage. And you have to let that flow through you. You have to have minimal responses. You have to get accountable to your responses. Again, he comes in the group, he shares with us, he's aware to it, he's accepting it, he's getting accountable to it, and he comes back next week with new goals, just saying, hey, I just decided not to respond. I decided to wait. I decided to calm down, decided to breathe, decided to go for a walk. Whatever that might be that he could do. And he started to do that. And he started just letting that slide off and letting it slide off. Your peace is your most powerful weapon. Number 3, build such a strong relationship with your kids that her words can't compete. Dads, when you show up, when you're intentional, when you have a schedule for your children of who's doing what, where, when you have one-on-one dates with your kids, and we go through that in the 2x2x2 method in our school group, and there's another framework of 7x7x7. But when you do those intentionally, when you create safe places for your children to sit and talk, I'll tell you, for me, there was times I wasn't doing that, and I was pushing my kids away. And as they get older, they can make decisions a lot faster. They no longer wanted to go on dates with me. Why? When I asked them, they said, Dad, I don't want another lecture. I don't want you to give me another 7-point talk. And that's me here, just, trying to control, trying to lead, trying to, do the best that I can or whatever. And I had to get challenged from my coach and my mentors about this as well, and said, hey, dude, you need to create a place where they feel just safe and seen and heard. Don't problem solve. Don't fix it. Don't, just let them be, let them share, let them do, let them have fun. Changed everything for me. Changed everything. Dates were now fun. We just are doing fun things instead of just always making it into some sort of, learning experience. And so, listen, you cannot control what she says. You can't control what your children experience with you. So guys, listen, let me drop this with you. Before question 2, if these are helpful for you, follow on Spotify, subscribe on Apple right now. It's real. I'm here with real questions, real dads. Hit follow so you don't miss one, which is awesome. And if you know a dad who's in this exact situation, send it, share it, fire it away. It might be the best thing that changes how he handles this week. And listen, guys, every time you do that, look, I want to transform 1 million dads. I can't do it alone. What's been great is in these groups, there's other guys that are helping other guys. And just like you're like, maybe I want to help someone. A couple clicks right now, doing that gets the algorithm going crazy. And it sends it to more divorced dads. That's as simple as it is. Thank you for doing something that seems so insignificant that can change a dad's life who's in a desperate need worse than you. All right, let's jump into question 2. This question is simple on the surface. It was a good question. I hear it a lot as well. A dad asked, Anthony, what's the single best piece of advice you give divorced dads who are rebuilding? I love it because it forces me to kind of cut through the crap and cut through my life and sit back in that place of what the heck did what did I actually need? What actually worked? What did I listen to? What mattered? Because you can get so lost. You can hear a million things that come through. And I really want to distill this stuff into results. I don't care if you feel better. I care if you're getting the results of rebuilding your life into the man that you're created to be. So I'll throw it like this. After coaching, 100 dads, helping more than 1,000 dads, the men who rebuild fastest and strongest do three things that I've noticed. This is what I'm seeing from the data on my side, from the conversations that I'm having. The men who stay stuck almost universally skip at least one of these. So this is huge. This is big. Get your ears open, listening. First one is forgive daily. Forgive daily. Scripture says that we forgive us our sins as we forgive those who have sinned against us. It's not a suggestion. This is the Lord's Prayer. And there's a reason. You are going to many days not want to forgive your ex, the situation, or yourself. There's many dads in here who've had an affair, who blew it up on their own. They're guilty. They're shameful. They feel it for their kids of what they did and how they're affecting them. That was me. That I felt so bad about what this was going to do to my kids. But I needed to ask the Lord forgiveness for me, for worrying, for being in fear, for not trusting him in this next phase. You don't need to forgive because they deserve it. You need to forgive because you deserve to be free. You deserve to take the weights off. Bitterness is the weight that keeps every other area of your life stuck. It's heavy, dude. You cannot build a new life while carrying the old one like a weapon. It's like carrying, a trailer full of trash, on a car. You're pulling this thing, trying to bring it into the next phase of your life, and it's just not going to work and not going to fit. It's going to drag you down. Forgive daily. Number 2 is humble yourself. Stop pretending you have it figured out. I had a guy on a call yesterday that told me all the things he was doing and all the coaching programs he was in and all the mentorships that he had. I said, great, man, that's awesome. So why are you calling me? Well, because, you seem to know what you have going on and you're going to be able, you can figure this out. I said, bro, if you can't listen and do what those guys are doing, what makes you think you're going to listen to me and humble yourself and be coachable? You cannot get help if you don't want it, right? You can't just think you have it all figured out. Stop editing your problems before you share them. Stop pretending you have it figured out. The man who admits what he doesn't know gets help. The man who performs right competently stays stuck. And humility is not weakness. It's the fastest path. It's the fastest path, man. It is absolutely incredible. And in this rebuild, you need the right answers more than you need to look like you have the right answers. That's what I've realized, man. The more and more, and the guys that I've sat with more and more that are even more successful than I am, they're just humble. They admit their failures and their flaws and their mistakes. And you need to get this phrase in your mouth so that your children see it as well. I was wrong. Please forgive me. That's one of the biggest things in humility that will not only teach yourself, but you will begin to teach your children to actually see what forgiveness is, what being wrong looks like. Because most people never show their children what it looks like. And your children don't do what you say. They do what you do. Third one, get with other men and get accountable. Oh man, this is not to vent, not to moan, not to complain. There's no complaining if you can't bring a solution. You want to complain, then you got to have a solution. The man who numbs out alone gets worse. The man who sits with other men who are building gets better. Iron sharpens iron. And guess what? When iron sharpens iron, it's not a soft massage. It hurts, man. It's friction. There's sparks. You feel it. That's iron on iron, man. Stop feeling sorry for yourself in isolation. Find your brotherhood, get in our school group, start there, start building. Guys are helping other guys. And you want to level up to another level, start helping another man who's a little bit further behind than you. And you will get accountable. You will build, you will be fulfilled. You will have that leadership gift that erupts again. And that's as simple as it is. One man with accountability moves faster than 10 men with information. You don't need more information, dude. There's so much stuff. There's so much podcast. There's so much. Great. Awesome. Just do the thing you know you need to do. I'm going to give you something quickly before I head out. Recently, happened to me this week. I was in my fridge. I had grapes on a plate in my fridge and been there a while. And someone came over and they asked, why are the grapes on a plate instead of a bowl? And I never thought about it. I just, okay. I mean, it was quick. It was there. I threw them in there. I didn't think about, but they were right. A bowl made more sense. I swapped it out. I got more room in my fridge. It was easier to find all the other stuff. It was a better system. I'd been doing it wrong and just throwing stuff in there because of just not realizing what I was doing. That I just I was creating disorganization. And I say that to you because that is exactly what accountability does for divorced dads. It puts someone in your fridge who asks the questions you stopped asking yourself. Your blind spots are invisible to you by definition. That's why they're blind. The man who gets with other men gets his grapes put in a bowl in the right spot, organized clearly. You start to see things differently. You start to see that it's something to it. Sometimes one small shift creates more room for everything else. And here's a scripture for you before we close this out. Proverbs 15:22 says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. Not some plans, right? Not some. Your rebuild is a plan and it will fail without counsel. Not because you aren't capable, because you can't see what you can't see. The advisors aren't a sign of weakness. I remember, man, having to share that stuff and I felt like a loser, but man, it was so freeing just to get that stuff out, just to talk through it, just to start building through it, not just venting, not just complaining, but building through it. These are the design. Get in the room with men who are building. Let someone ask you why the grapes are on the plate. The question might just change everything. So listen, those of you guys, you're drifters. Drifters are going to fight their co-parent. They're going to feed the conflict and wonder why their kids are being pulled away from them. Builders elevate their life. They stay calm. Man, they become so undeniable that no amount of poisoning can compete with what their kids actually experience. Drifters stay stuck alone, numbing, feeling sorry, waiting to feel ready. Builders forgive, humble themselves, and get in the room with men who will ask them the questions they stopped asking for a divorced dad, right? They stopped asking themselves those questions. The best advice for a divorced dad is not complicated. Forgive, get humble, get accountable. Everything else follows. That's the work. That's the climb. So if this episode hits you, man, one more time, share it with a dad in a high conflict co-parenting situation right now. Share it with one who's been rebuilding alone, maybe. 2 clicks gives them help and hope. That matters more than you know. Follow on Spotify, subscribe on Apple. Keep your questions coming every Wednesday. Drop them in our school group or send them to me on Instagram. If you're ready to get your grapes in a bowl, stop doing this alone, man. The links are in the show notes. I'll see you on Friday. I love you. God bless you. I'll see you in this next one.